Okay, that was not a very energetic applause. Let's try one more time. Okay, good. I know they already offer you ice cream, beer, so we have very high competition. So hopefully we can actually battle with that. Cristobal Alonso, I'm the CEO of Startup Wise Guys. And I was one of these people that, when in February hear the news of the invasion, the war in Ukraine, I start thinking, how are we affected, right? In my case, we have 6 employees from Ukraine. We have 46 companies in the portfolio. And you start getting on the phone to see what can we do, right? Because I don't think, no matter the proximity with what is happening, we could actually feel it, how they feel it, right? So I wanted to, they were talking about a somber tone. I don't think there is a somber tone on this. I think every story with every Ukrainian founder that I find is just inspirational. It's just a speech about resilience. We cannot imagine how resilient the humans are until we face this one. And every one of our founders, our employees from Ukraine has been showing us this to us, right? So I wanted to talk to Bogdan. Bogdan, I wanted you to introduce yourself better than I do. But when introducing also what are you doing with NeoCurrent, almost how did you come up with the idea? What was the time that you said, not only we are going to do it, but are going to start testing it in Ukraine? So how did you make the decision? Because you could have gone to the UK, you could have gone down yourself in Ukraine. So how was it born? What do you guys do? And how do you make the starting point to be Ukraine?
Yeah. Okay, first of all, hello everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here. It's so nice to see so many young faces and people smiling. And I think resilience at the end, it's about smiling and being positive. So I'm Bogdan Shkarupa, CEO and co-founder of NeuCurrent. I've done another startup before, and I'm doing this startup with my son, who is not 2 years old. He's 27 years old, so quite mature. But it actually came from him, so the second startup. He won another kind of tech competition, and he was offered a place in IBM in Netherlands. And I said, just go, it's such an opportunity. He said, no, I don't want to go. I want to do a startup. And I said, okay. So we discussed it, and we thought, okay, although I'm based in the UK, he was based in the Ukraine. And I thought, let's try Ukraine, because I've done one startup before, and I know how hard it is to start. And our roots in Ukraine, let's do in Ukraine. And that's kind of how we started. And then one thing led to another, and we kind of realized it's becoming something. And we started thinking about investment, got leading retailers as clients in Ukraine. And we haven't lost any clients. So it's kind of was becoming very serious. And, and then when you have employees, it's becoming even more serious, because every month you have to pay them. So that's kind of, I don't know, I can go forever.
No, I will go deeper with you, but let's go actually to the most painful probably moment. So what happens that you wake up one day, the startup is going great, as you said, clients, investment, employees, and suddenly everything changes, right?
Yes.
So what goes through your mind at that particular point that you realize the whole world is changing for you guys?
Yeah, so I was up, I think as probably, I don't know, so many people in Ukraine, I was up like 4 or 5 o'clock that morning, because I knew something was going to happen. And first it was just a shock, like, fuck. Sorry, but that was kind of the reaction. And then, obviously, days were flying very quickly. All our clients left, like they stopped paying. They didn't leave, they stopped paying. They stopped paying their employees as well. People started spreading, and you kind of think, okay, what are you gonna do, as a person? So you can kind of stop paying, use a bit of an opportunity, save a bit of cash. But we kind of, with my son, we sort of talked to each other, and we said, okay, that's our act of kind of defiance. We have to fight, we have to go on. So we decided the only thing we could do is support people and kind of keep everyone together. So we set up like calls 3 times a day. People were spreading. And we said, if you can join, please join. Because it's kind of mentally, if you can talk to anyone, you can tell where you are. It helps. I said, forgot about the work for now. And we told them, we're going to pay you until we can. We can't pay you as we did before, but we're going to pay you. And then, so sort of, there was a hell of a lot of uncertainty, but we sort of kind of one thing led to another. So we paid people, people said, okay, we want to start working. So because it helps. So we kind of started working. People were volunteering, and we said, take your time, do the right thing. And then, then we kind of started thinking, okay, what are we going to do? Are we going to, we don't have clients. And we never kind of thought about ourselves as Ukrainian startup in the first place. So we kind of thought, okay, let's maybe try product-led marketing, automate kind of that. We can't be now meeting clients because we were kind of in different places and it's all very hard. But we said, let's automate the product so that people can feel and try our product. So we did that. Then obviously we had some support from investors, not huge, but it helped a bit. We obviously thought, okay, we need to look for money. Started looking for grants, got grants.
Let me stop you there, Bogdan.
Yeah.
How do you make that switch? So there is a point, I was reading in a magazine, I think I mentioned this example to you about this guy who at the end of the day, the factory burns, right? And there is 2 ways to look at it. That's it, right? But he says something that I found very powerful. The end is the beginning, right? So how do you make this mental switch? Okay, enough, people is secure, we are going to continue. Let's start thinking again about growing. What do you tell yourself? So how do you put yourself in the framework, the war is going on, but I'm going to build my business again? How do you do that?
Yeah, so I to be honest, I wish to say that I had some revelation and say I have a great future. I think it was sort of pure stubbornness. We kind of sat together and look, God, we've built that. Can we give up? No, we can't give up. So, and until it's not then, it's not then. So we kind of, we just said, we're gonna do it. We wanted to go to Europe anyway. So that's the opportunity for us to go to Europe. We didn't know how to go to Europe, but we said that's the opportunity for us. So let's explore this opportunity. If we run out, we run out.
And how is it going so far?
It's going very well with your help as well. So I think it's actually very exciting now. I think I smile much more now than 2 months ago. So we obviously won a grant. We got an investment. We are talking now about raising a much bigger round. We have very good traction in France. We have really great help there. We are part of Euro Technologies Accelerator there, and they are really making very good introductions to us, and it looks like the market is ready for us. We have now client or we are signing an agreement with client in Vilnius, and we're expanding in Ukraine. And we even have someone who wants to sell us in the Middle East. So still kind of early days, but a lot of hope. And now we see the future.
You still have employees in Ukraine, right?
Yes.
So how are you dealing with that? So how are you dealing with, somehow you're in the UK, business is growing, but every day the war continues. How do you deal with that reality, and how do you keep supporting your employees to be able to keep helping, keep fighting, but keep running their business, right?
Yes, yeah, so all kind of things are happening. First of all, I think as a team, we really matured. We stuck together. Not the whole team, but the core team stuck together. So, we have huge respect to each other. And people know it. So people can talk to us directly and stuff like that. So we kept working as well, so which helped a lot. But we also do a lot of other stuff. We're fundraising. We are supplying drones to Ukraine. So if anyone want to give money for drones, you know my number. So a lot of stuff is happening, and we just kind of stick together.
You talk about drones and raising money, but I want you to share your little story about swimming in the winter.
Yeah.
How do you keep the visibility alive of the war is continuing? What did you do?
Yeah. So I kind of, December is very gloomy, and December probably was the worst month for us because at that time we sat with my son and kind of thought again, do we really want to continue? Because money were kind of terribly short. And I thought, okay, if we fell there, I need to do something good, something really positive, something I can be proud of. So we did fundraising where from the 16th of December until 31st, I swam kind of in the winter river and the sea, and the temperature was from 3 to 5 degrees, and it was fun. And I broke the ice a couple of times, and it was fun, and we raised quite a bit of money and bought drones and sent them to the units, and it gave me kind of a lot of distraction and positivity, but strength as well. And I told my employees that we are doing it, and I think for people in Ukraine it's kind of, it was sort of important to know that I'm doing something as well, being in the UK. I'm not just kind of some founder. So I'm constantly doing something, and I help them with whatever, these electrical things, because electricity wasn't there. So yeah.
Generators.
Yeah, generators, yeah. Yeah.
Working in Nigeria, I have experience of that before. How do you came up with the idea? You're looking at the river and says, okay, now it looks so warm that I'm going to jump. How did you came up with the idea of, let me jump into the river for 15 days? And I think people join you also.
Yes. So I had a lot of... First of all, that idea came as a revelation. Honestly, okay. I don't know. I was sitting at the table, and I live not far from the river, and I thought, why would I do it? It's Christmas coming. People would give money because people are generous at Christmas. And that was like a revelation. So I just did it. And then, so local people, some local people and some of my relatives, they just joined for a dip. And then I found that there is actually a big community who is doing it every day. So I'm quite, I'm saying it, but some people do it every day. And then, I met some people on the beach, and they said, so what are you fundraising for? I said, for the Ukrainian army. We want to contribute. People I didn't know. So that happened as well. So it's a lot of positivity.
How do you keep up? I'm sure you wake up every day and look at the news. How present is into your daily life that this is going on?
I think I'm not alone here. It's definitely for all Ukrainians. We wake up and first thing we read the news. And then, we read the news every hour, and they're kind of repetitive. And you kind of live with that. And I think it's very hard. It's very hard. I think we all wanted to stop, so that, because it's very hard to ignore it. Obviously, you can't do it all the time, but you want to know, and it's sort of a duty to know what's happening. And I suppose I have not much to say. We just live with that, and we have to win because someone invaded our country. Sorry.
No, it is emotional. It has to be emotional.
Yeah. Yeah, but it will end.
It will end, and hopefully will end the right way, which is with victory. And I think, to give you a bit of a break on this one thing, talking to all of my Ukrainian employees, I said, when I was visiting 2016, 17, I still didn't notice this pride in the country. And something that gives me a lot of hope is seeing how the country has come together.
Yes.
And I think, of course, I would have loved to be in a different way, but I think when this is over, the nation will change.
Absolutely.
I think will change for the good. And I think this will not have happened, unfortunately, I think maybe in this other way. So it's a new beginning for the country. And I think also I think half of the Spaniards, Portuguese, Italians didn't even know where Ukraine was, and it's not attacked. And now I said they know everything about you guys. And I think I think it has even joined Europe together. I've never seen the European Union coming together
Yes.
for anything. So to me, gives me hope that resilience, there's a lesson about how bad things bring us together again, right? So I'm going to bring another emotional point, but a different one for you. You decided to do this with your kid, right?
Yes.
How do you evolve, or how do you manage from the son-father relationship to co-founder relationship? You cannot give orders to your co-founder, or you cannot give instructions to your... How do you make that change, and how he came back to live with you after being 27?
Yes. Yes.
So how are you dealing with
Yes.
my 27-year-old co-founder living with you in the house now?
Yeah. I think, first of all, I probably wouldn't do it if he didn't want to do it in the first place. So I wouldn't wish my son to do a startup. I'm a bit joking here, but he really wanted to do it. So I think that was a very good starting point. So when things are difficult, I remind him about that. I think relationships, this relationship evolves, definitely, because, it's very easy to snap at each other in this kind of very close, son and father relationship. But I think he probably needs to talk about his experience. But I think I've learned a couple of things. So first of all, you need to show respect. And what I mean by that, don't assume that he knows that you respect him. You need to tell him. Because, I don't realize it because, I'm father, but he still looks up at me as a father. So you do need to express this respect, and he knows that I'm doing it not because he's my kid and I'm trying to help him. I'm doing it because I'm serious about it. And I wouldn't do it with anyone else. That's also important. I tried another co-founder. I didn't have even close the same amount of respect. And I think it's simple things. You have to listen to each other. You have to be patient. So that's for me kind of key. And I have to listen to him. And when you say listen, you have to mean that, because he comes with quite a few interesting ideas. He's very stubborn, but he's also kind of getting tired. He wants everything quick. So, and there is no right or kind of black and white answer sometimes. So it's just kind of staying and be patient and smiling and kind of showing respect. So it works. So I don't have actually a problem him living with me that much, because he's helping with school commute, which is excellent. I can send him still to the shop, and he still goes. So that's fine. That's fine.
So a lot of VCs don't like to invest in co-founders with family relationship. Doesn't matter if they are brothers, father and son, husband and wife. We made a decision that actually we believe in that. We believe actually those relationships are even more powerful. But there is a big if, or there is a big issue, which is how do you stop thinking about the business once in a while? How do you make sure that at dinner we talk about something else that is not the business? So do you have some rules in the family that, hey, we don't talk about business once in a while, we do some, you were talking about barbecue. So how do you keep sometimes business offline for a little bit?
Yeah, so I think we kind of have a rule now that at least one day a week we need to switch off. And normally it's Saturday, and we just don't talk about business. Whatever problems we have, we just don't talk about it. Luckily, we both like good wine and a beer, and we can have it. And we do barbecues, and we like people to have around. I do a lot of running. So we just, you should have rules. Just stop it. Whatever happens, whatever problems we have, just stop it. And we do that. So,
No, I like that. I think it's the idea that everybody might have different rules, but you need to have your own rules and you need to agree on them, right? Because if not, there is when you have your own rule, the other one imposes his, and then you never stop talking about the business, right? And we know how passionate weird about our build. It's in our brain, but at least we need to try to take it apart. Do you think you're going to be a better entrepreneur after going through this experience? A more cautious entrepreneur? You're not doing again unless this is... how do you look at you talk about startup resilience as a way of life. How is there these lessons?
Yeah, that's a very, very good question. So I thought I would be careful after my first startup. And now I think we are doing something kind of much, well, we've gone through definitely much more sort of tough experience. Strangely enough, and I take it as a praise to me, my son sometimes, Yaroslav, says, you know, we're going to do that next. And I like sort of telling him, you know, you probably have time to do next. I might not have this time. But I take it as a praise. Obviously, sometimes I just have this dream, you know, it's all over. We sold it. And I'm just reading books and going to the beach. We will see what happens with that. Yeah, we will see. You know, we will see. I like one, sort of it reminded me one story about a very famous gardener in Cornwall. I just watched the program, whatever, the other day. And he said, you know, this is he building another kind of big garden, you know, huge garden, some apple trees from whatever, varieties, hundreds varieties and stuff like that. And he says, it's my last project. And he's 85. So we will see. We will see.
We talk about your son. Let me, this is something that I mention a lot about. Doing your own startup is not just yours, right? It's your partner is coming with you, right? So what has been the role of your wife, of your partner? How, and I know it's very important, but I think I want to share with people about how these supporting mechanisms that we have in the family is relevant and important, but how do you bring them in? Hey, we're going to do, as you probably said, again, a startup, and with your son and you're crazy, you know, but how do we get them involved into this crazy ride again?
Yeah, this is very interesting because I think we all kind of want to be very protective of our families, but also you can't lie. Yeah, this is very interesting actually, but my wife just kind of trusts me. And she says to me that by her nature, she always thinks about the worst. What if you lose the house? You know, what? But then she says, but you know, it's my nature, or her nature. So you know what you're doing. You know, you can calculate the numbers. So if you think it's right, yeah, why not? You know, we've survived so far. So you do need to have this support, and I think I'm very lucky, and you need to have this trust. And also, obviously, you need to be careful and still protect it, and you know, not to gamble your life, kind of your family on that. Also, there's always an element of it, but you have to be confident. You know, you really have to be confident that you can do it, and I don't know, rightly or wrongly, I'm still confident. So that's kind of...
Is there anything specific about building that confidence? Talking about resilience, talking about confidence, and you know, everybody asks this question, you know, are you born an entrepreneur and you discover, or can you make yourself an entrepreneur? And you come from corporate life,
yes,
with your KPMG,
yeah,
so you have gone through the comfort to the discomfort.
Yeah.
Is that, you think it was always inside you and then your son make it come out, or?
No, I did start up before. So I invited, at that time, he just finished university, so I invited him as an employee there. No, so I definitely, it didn't come from my son. It's hard to say, you know, it's one of those fundamental questions, nature or nurture. I think there is definitely something inside because I felt very bored, and I definitely had to do something about it. So there is definitely an element of that. I think Probably, I don't know whether it's kind of across all founders, but you have to be kind of stupidly positive. That's, I don't know whether it's right or wrong, but something should be a bit wrong with you. So as my wife said, you know, you wake up every morning and you smile. Why do you smile? Because it's the morning. So there is definitely a bit of that, but you definitely need to build confidence. Confidence, you know, it's certainly something which can be knocked out, and you have knocks all the time. You know, you do things all the time, and you know, that's definitely you should work on that, and because it can be tough, as we all know,
By the way, I love the, you know, this is, having worked so many years in the Baltics and Eastern Europe, to hear the word smiling is amazing, because I still think that, you know, people don't smile enough here, and you see, good to see the nodding, right? And it's the positive effect that smiling has, right? And there is no reason to smile but feeling good. Exactly. Right? And I think the more you smile, the better you feel.
Yes.
And likely the better they feel around you. And we keep here going like, say, good morning. Exactly. You know, it's great that we are alive, right?
Yes.
So,
yes.
And I think that you guys keep smiling under the current circumstances is great. Let me give you the last one. Probably I will just follow with the last statement. But we talk about your kid, but you have other smaller kids. And, you know, people that we are parents, how do we, is there a balance, work-life balance that they call it, but how do we make sure that when we are with our kids, we are having time with our kids and not with our business and not with our phone? How do we build that? Because we are actually, this is how we educate them, right?
Yes, I think it's a tough one because, you know, I wish I can kind of advise or tell that I have perfect balance, and unfortunately, you know, I do want to spend time more with my kids. That's 100%. But also it helps that we are working a lot from home now, because, you know, I can do school runs and I can be with them. But then, you know, my son, for example, kind of younger son, is a very good tennis player. So on Saturdays, you know, we just go for tournaments, and that's where we spend time. And even being in the car, we definitely have a bond. And you know, having my wife kind of, she can dedicate more time to the kids. So that sort of keeps some balance. But unfortunately, I don't have the right answer. You know, you just try your best, and sometimes you can do it. Sometimes you feel that, you know, you can't do it. And if you have family support, that helps. That definitely helps.
It's too close, man. You know, it's probably there is no definite answer here, but do you think NeoCurrent is going to be a better company because it survived the war, or will it have been a better company without a war?
It's a very funny kind of, sorry, in a way, strange question. And it's really kind of crazy, probably, the way I'm going to give an answer, because it's probably what you said about Ukraine as a nation. It's certainly a best of a nation, because the fight is now not for the language, you know, even not for the territory. It's definitely for the values. You know, we want to get together, be free, talk free, you know, smile. We don't want to be like them. Sorry, I'm generalizing here. So NeuCurrent definitely going to be better because of the war, as sad as it is, because I think it's kind of made us think quicker, differently. We kind of realize that we can't really give up because we've built so much, and now we have you, and I'm sure we will grow. And to be honest, I have huge hopes. I might be optimist again, well, smiling for nothing, but now I have huge hopes. Yeah.
I said it before, I think you cannot be an entrepreneur without hope, right? You cannot be an entrepreneur without this eternal optimism that everything is going to be all right tomorrow. But on behalf of everybody, thanks for your courage, thanks for your resilience, and I'm actually sure that nobody wanted the world, but the world has been here, is here, and if we make something better out of it, then all the suffering, all the fight will have been worth it, and fighting for values is the best thing we can do in life.
Exactly.
So thank you. As Bogdan says, if somebody wants to help buying drones for Ukraine, you have his number. And let's keep remembering that the war continues, and hopefully it will end soon. Thank you very much. Thank you, Bogdan.
Keep supporting Ukraine.